Welcome back to Chow Time Pod. It's your host, Red. Got a video today from Alpha Male. Why even a female tech CEO doesn't hire women anymore. Please like, subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. Let's get that chow. It's chow time.
The progress being made to get more women into British boardrooms. Some extraordinary excuses have come to light as why men refuse to nominate them. Anna Stewart has the list. She joins me now from London. And interesting that this is public at all, but what are we finding out, Anna?
I mean, Maggie, it's really hard not to laugh when you read some of these genuine reasons that male CEOs and chairmen have given for not nominating women to the board. Let me run through some of my favorites. We have, I don't think women fit comfortably into the board environment.
True.
Then we have, most women don't want the hassle or pressure of sitting on a board.
True.
All the good women have already been snapped up. And perhaps my favorite, we have one woman already on the board, so we're done. It's someone else's turn. Now, the UK government has published these terrible reasons or excuses, you could call them, for not nominating women to the board to shame FTSE 350 companies into doing something, because they did set them a
You're trying to shame companies to hiring people. Does that seem like a good idea to you?
target. 2 years ago, they said by 2020, you need to make sure that a third of all leadership roles in your businesses are held by women. And if you look at this...
That doesn't even make sense. 1/3 of all your leadership roles have to be held by women. What if you're in a male-dominated industry that doesn't have women that want to join? How are you going to get 1/3 women? That doesn't even make sense.
List, frankly, we're quite far away from that.
Yeah, anybody who thinks that there's not institutionalized bias that's going to take a long time to get over only needs to look down that list to see how much work still needs to be done. Anna, thank you.
If I was a man, and I'm not a man, but if I was a man, I wouldn't hire a woman. I wouldn't do it. And I say it all the time, and I say that, and that is something that women need to consider when they're talking about this stuff. When you are saying that a man complimenting you and saying, I really like your outfit today, is a form of sexism. What is the, if you're a man, why hire a woman, right? So you fought all this time to be able to get into the workforce, only to say these are going to be the rules. You know, if you say anything, even if you compliment me, if you look at me, anything, I'm going to have a reason to fight you. And by the way, you're going to want to settle and pay me, because even just the stain of an accusation is enough to ruin men. So what if you're a guy, right, in this society, in this Me Too environment, in this litigation-rich environment of misogyny and sexism and all these claims, what is the value add? What's the risk? You know, the benefit and the risk. I can't do the analysis and say, I'd just be like, no, I'm just not hiring one. Give me all the men.
You are straight off the stage where you were just talking about Lean In and a new study you've just released indicating that women are actually having less access to mentorship and to their bosses than they were even a year ago. What's going on here?
Yeah, it's really important. So today we just released a Lean In SurveyMonkey study that shows that 60% of male managers in the United States are afraid to do a one-on-one activity with a woman, including having a meeting. I mean, can you believe that? 60%. A senior man is 9 times more likely to hesitate to travel with a woman and 6 times more likely to hesitate to have a dinner with a woman. And the problem with that is women already weren't getting the same mentorship that men were, particularly women of color. And no one's ever gotten a promotion without getting a one-on-one meeting. And so I think men and women need to be able to travel together. They need to be able to go to meetings together, go to meals together. All of that can be done in public spaces, but those one-on-one conversations. And if there's a man out there who doesn't want to have work dinners with a woman, then he shouldn't have work dinners with a man. You know, group lunches for everyone, if that's how they feel.
Deep-rooted stereotype.
It's like, oh, because we don't get what we want, you shouldn't do what you want and still help out you men, or still help out your company to grow because you're not helping me to grow. Such a selfish thought process.
Types perpetuate the belief that men are inherently more competent and authoritative than women, particularly in leadership positions. These biases influence hiring decisions, leading employers to often favor male candidates for positions of power. The stereotype of the ideal leader aligns with traditionally masculine traits such as assertiveness, confidence, and decisiveness, while traits associated with femininity, such as empathy and collaboration, are undervalued in leadership roles. This bias creates significant barriers for women seeking advancement in their careers. Despite possessing equal qualifications and capabilities, women are overlooked or undervalued in favor of their male counterparts. Even when women do break through into leadership roles, they often face greater scrutiny and are held to higher standards than their male peers due to their nasty tantrums or mood swings.
Hi, my name is Maya Milusheva. I'd like to start with a short
I really like
introduction
this
about
clip.
myself. I'm a woman in IT, obviously. I'm a
I feel like this clip, it gets around quite a bit. I've reacted to it a few times. It really shows that this stuff does not get put to light. It doesn't show the actual women that are in the industry running things in these particular industries, in these particular companies. You're not getting their take on it because their take is the same as a male's take.
CEO of a quite profitable IT company. I'm a mother as well, so you would say I went through quite a lot in the IT industry. So I have the experience and authority to talk about this topic. Now, what I want to say is that the whole talk about women in IT is usually a bad thing for us. Because basically what it says is, well, it's okay to have lower income, it's okay to do worse than boys in the IT industry because, well, there's a world conspiracy against you, you know, people hate you, that's why. So that's why I'm against the whole talk. Also, I did some recruiting because I have a company. And also I went to a school that had like 8 girls and 100 boys. So, you know, I'm quite used to being around a lot of boys. The whole thing is, girls are usually quite lazy. They're just not that good programmers. Sorry, but that's true, honestly. They just don't want to get their hands dirty.
I just realized like the reactions of this guy and her, they're just like looking at each other, just laughing.
To do the job. And when I tried to do some recruiting, I intentionally wanted to recruit women. And at the end, I failed to do so. Do you want to know why? Because most of those girls were usually just cheating, and they were just not good programmers.
Even then, like the quota system, if you have to get 50-50 or whatever it is in your quota system, 50% male, 50% female, and there's a candidate of 1 million males, and there's a candidate of 50 females, you're going to have to hire all the females, right, to get your quota. But if you hired all the females, you're hiring from the shittiest of the shittiest to maybe the best. But if there's 1 million males that you have to pull from, you can just pull the best out of that million of males. That's the problem that people are not realizing. There's not enough good workers in each of these industries of each sex to make it worth it for them to hire them.
At the end, I had to recruit boys. And that's why I think the whole talk about let's recruit more women is bad, because at the end, you're recruiting worse programmers.
Correct.
At the end, your company is going to suffer. You're going to lose some money. I know it's trendy to talk about women in IT,
shit, she's telling the
but I think
truth.
women should just start studying more and getting the job done.
When a company gets its first female or minority CEO, that might not set the business on a more diverse path for long. A recent PwC report has found that although the number of women CEOs at large companies is growing, more women leaders are forced out of the office than men. 38% of female CEOs versus 27% of male CEOs in the last 10 years. Now another study, published in the Strategic Management Journal in July by Utah State University researchers, has found that in the vast majority of cases, Fortune 500 companies replace female and minority CEOs with white men. Women or minority CEOs succeeded other non-traditional CEOs in only 4 of 608 transitions from 1996-2010, according to the research.
Only 4?
The study also found that boards are more likely to promote women and minorities to top leadership roles when an organization is in crisis, and when companies led by minority and women leaders decline, boards are more likely to replace these leaders with white males.
Makes sense.
We have all witnessed the layoffs of thousands of employees over the past couple of years at companies like Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, and Twitter. The consequences of COVID on organizations became evident when they recognized they had hired excessively during the pandemic. You might not be aware of this, but the majority of businesses have stopped recruiting women. It might be surprising to learn that more firms are refusing to hire women to fill their positions, and no corporation will admit this to you.
Of course
Why?
they won't.
Because women bring a lot of drama to the table, and endless cases of ruining employee culture by falsely accusing male colleagues who no longer want to work with women.
A 2019 study published in Harvard Business Review reveals that workplace behaviors have changed due to Me Too. Men are less likely to hire attractive women to fill a vacancy or have one-on-one meetings with women. They are doing this to mitigate the risks of unsubstantiated allegations of sexual harassment. But this isn't just happening at work. This is happening across all levels of society, across all age ranges.
Yep.
Guys are
There's even you little kids, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, playing roughhouse a little bit, touching a girl on accident is now being put on the offenders list. A 6-year-old, they're kids. You just ruined this kid's life by putting him on that list. I'm so lost at we lost all these little nuances that kids are kids. Boys will be boys, girls will be girls. You know, they're going to do what they want. Let them. It's okay. I mean, as long as they're not doing anything so detrimental. I mean, they're going to accidentally kiss each other. They're going to accidentally do things to each other. They're kids. There's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. And I mean, they're macking on each other, sure. But kids peck on the lips, peck on the cheek. They do that with everybody. Kids love everybody.
afraid to hit on a girl in public, offer to buy her a drink at a bar, or give her something as simple as a compliment. Anecdotally, the men I've spoken with confirm this.
True.
They're mindful that they will be called a creep or a pervert for acknowledging an attractive woman.
I have some pretty good friends, as in, like, they do well. No, they don't approach women. They don't do any of that because they do well. They don't want any type of thing to ruin their reputation, to ruin their image, because it took them a lifetime to build. You don't need a woman to just wreck it in a day.
So they don't. It's easier to just ignore women altogether than risk the potential for an unwanted criminal entanglement. What was intended to be a movement to help women has had the opposite effect. The Wall Street Journal reported on January 26th that...
You know, I may talk about this subject, and I have complete empathy and for women that do get taken advantage of. That women, you know, men with power, yes, they wield that power almost any way they wish. There's a good chunk of them. So there are women that, yes, are victims, and I 100% are on those women's side. But there's also the other side of there's too many women playing the victim card. That makes it so even men like me, good men out there, can't even trust the good women anymore. And that is what's ruining society. We can't trust each other. Men can't trust women in anything they say. Women don't trust men because they've been ran through by the top tier echelon of men, and they think all men translate that way. Society's fucked.
That Steve Wynn, the casino mogul and founder and CEO of Wynn Resorts, had been accused of sexual harassment and assault by several employees, including one allegation that led to a $7.5 million settlement. In a statement to the Journal, Wynn denied the allegations. A denial from Wynn didn't stop the damage to his company. Shares for Wynn Resorts fell by 10% on the day that the Journal published its story, and another 9% on January 29th, shaving off about $3.5 billion of the company's value, according to Fortune. Wynn lost $412 million of his net worth. Interpreted acts of sexual violence are doing far more harm than we realize. The fear of accusation is so strong now that men would rather sit out than lean in with us. There is only so far we can go by stubbornly demanding change on our own.
Yep.
Women have created a toxic environment for everyone to operate in,
Even
not
women.
just men. Feminist entitlement has encouraged the perpetuation of victimhood at the expense of personal accountability. Women are no longer seen as safe prospects to mentor. Safer for men to gather together and exclude women from after-hours socialization. Where a man would previously offer to assist a woman, he will now carefully consider the optics before doing anything. The typical outcome is that one woman must help another. Where a man previously might have engaged in idle conversation or humor, now he thinks twice before ever speaking.
Yep.
Risk management is something most men excel at. Women are too risky a prospect to engage unless necessary. That's all for today on Alpha Male.
Shout outs to Alpha Male. Isn't it sad when even women in leadership and in big positions look down on women getting hired? Why? They even say you're lazy. Men know this already, but if other women are noticing that you're lazy, other women are noticing all these other things, maybe it's not men that are just trying to talk shit, is it? Please subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. And